Well, can we talk about who was Jesus? And is there someone or people out there who can have Jesus as their inner being? Or, well, I guess it's like you said, the consciousness is a soup. It can come forth.
This is such a big
something.
conversation, and we're going to give it to you briefly here.
Okay.
And you'll hear it in light of what we were just talking about here. So acknowledge a person, a human being, who lived enough life and was full of enough questions and had created a vortex. Through meditation, discovered alignment, and then began receiving. What's interesting is that humans who have studied him recognize him as a man who was so much more because of his connection of so much more, who now that he has reemerged back into non-physical want to acknowledge the man part of him rather than the whole and the non-physical part of him. And yet most of the words that he spoke were to help those who were then listening to understand that he was a representative of so much more, explaining to them that the kingdom of heaven was within them too, not wanting them to make him what they eventually did make him out to be. So much so that those around him at the time were frightened by that which he was and appeared to be. And so then he reemerges into non-physical, and now anyone has access to all that he is. To all that he is. So he was the non-physical energy. He was the source energy. He was trying to explain that to everyone.
I guess then my realization now is just some points I've been more ready for things that he was trying to give. As in at certain points I found myself in alignment in certain ways with
well, all of those magnificent humans who have been receivers and explainers of what they were receiving are now current and still flowing. But the mind of most men want to leave them where they were then and try to re-explain what they were explaining in their humanness then, after endless translations of endless others who had endless motives in the way that they translated. Every one of you has access to everything that they were receiving and more.
Because they're constantly still expanding.
Because they're still expanding. They're still expanding through you. Through all of you, you see. But again, most humans don't want to hear that. It feels like blasphemy to them, because while they came to trust and believe in what was being received then, they don't understand that receiving is still continuing, not just in someone like Esther, not just in someone who has allowed themselves, like so many of these beginners of so many religions were allowing, but because everyone has access to all of that here and now. You all are on the leading edge of thought, and everything that has ever been thought before, each of you has access to. But you can't have access to what is current if you're locked in to the old rhetoric about what it was. Reading the old texts denies you access to the current version.
Not in alignment, you can't hear it. Yeah.
It's time for a segment of refreshment. We've enjoyed this interaction immensely. Good time for it.
And with the people in my life that I had heard the conversation about the fellow whose sister, he wanted to love her. I have a desire to love some people in my life, and sometimes I look for positive aspects in them.
You're going to hear this really clearly right now. All of you will. Just look for someone to love. Just look for love. Just look for someone to love. When you choose some really hard to love person and you decide to make them your project of loving, you fail. And then you feel like a failure, even though you're not. Start with something easy. Rather than trying to love specifically, just love. Love the ship, love the view, love the sea. Love being in your body, love where it's easy, love where it's easy. or quiet your mind into love. That's what happens. When you raise that vibration, anything less than love falls away. And now you're in sync with love. And then when you come out of meditation, haven't you noticed how at times when you know you're really tuned to your source energy, and you look at someone or something and you just feel this feeling of expanded appreciation and love?
The fourth thing was that there was...
So go back to the third thing for a moment.
Okay.
What was it? There are some people I want to love.
Well, yeah, that's kind of related. Yeah.
Yeah.
The teenage daughters, there's one of them that I won in the lottery, and that was a sign to me of how Abraham was working in my life, because she came into my life a few years ago, and we just laughed so much all the time. I would have to run to the bathroom. Every time we started talking and laughing, it was so much fun. And sometimes she would just roll on the floor.
Do you think that she is your greatest advantage?
She has been in parenting.
We see her as your greatest disadvantage for this reason. She's a condition that when you focus, you don't have to exercise any decision. She's conditionally easy to love. So you don't have to exercise your alignment muscles because you can just observe her. But then that leaves you wanting when you observe someone else that doesn't have that going on. Did you follow that?
Interesting.
That's really an important thing, because what you're saying to everybody is be like her. One day, Esther was after Jerry about some insignificant thing, and he said, will you do me a favor? And Esther said, anything you want. And he said, pretend like I'm Kate. Because he had never seen Esther ever in a moment of discomfort or upset over Kate, granddaughter Kate. Just pretend like I'm Kate for a few minutes. And Esther really got his point. She really got his point, that she was observing a condition, and the condition was controlling the way she feels. And that's a conditional love that will get you every time, because now you have to control uncontrollable things in order to feel good. But when you show yourself, because you've meditated on a frequent basis, that you can feel good regardless of what's going on, then you get the best from everybody. Or law of attraction doesn't bring you together right here, right now. You see what we're getting at? It's about, when you talk about that singular co-creation, we like that terminology, singular. In my solitude am I co-creator. And we say, in your desire to connect with who you really are, you are the best co-creator, because you're giving to others a stream of energy that is just like what their inner being is offering to them. But you are up close and personal. You're like a satellite dish that has beamed it to them in a way that it's more tangible. And so as you stay in your frisky, happy, aligned state of being, then others who are around you do benefit by it. But don't do it for them. Do it because nothing less than that is natural for you.
And I have learned that over the past few years, because I was just so serious about everything for so long. And until I started listening to Abraham.
You're still pretty serious.
Yeah.
You're still pretty serious. And we think
but
that
I've gotten a lot friskier.
you are perfect in every way. We are not in any way implying that you should be different. But that seriousness is about trying to think it through rather than letting the vibration carry you. Everyone relates to this in some way, don't you? It's the way you've been trained. And again, we want to come back to it. In your physical, action-oriented orientation. How's that for a stream of words? In your physically oriented orientation, where so much of it is about seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and touching. It's about action. You have left out the most important part, which is the vibrational alignment, which you said to us when you said, I just want to jump into things. Esther did it too, does it too sometimes. Just want to jump into it and do the things that need to be done, rather than doing the thing that really matters most, which is aligning with that energy of lightheartedness and power and love and certainty and assuredness and confidence and balance and vitality and agility and well-being and wellness and love and appreciation. In other words, there's so much reason to hook up to that. So much reason to hook up to that. And after a while, you'll get to the place where it comes really naturally to you. Sometimes we've said to you that we would rather see you in a state of appreciation than in a state of meditation, because appreciation is a further advanced state of meditation. That's alignment, which means no resistance, and momentum too.
It's easier for me to find a state of appreciation than it is to sit in a state of meditation.
All right, so let's do that relative to your daughters.
They're awesome. They really are awesome. All of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
What, you want to hear consciousness, about a stream of consciousness?
We want to hear you talking about your daughters.
I love how charming and funny, and they're beautiful, talented, amazing girls, and they go for what makes them happy. They try not to let things hold them back from finding their own joy. And they believe they can do anything and I try to tell them that they can be or do or have anything they want. And I see that they're much more capable of finding that than I ever was when I was, that age. And, they're fun to be around when I'm in a playful mood, when I can let go of the mother and be playful. We have a lot of fun together.
So what were you talking about earlier?
About being the mom of three teenagers?
Yeah.
Well, because there's so much variety in the different relationships with the three of them. And I'd like to try to be in a state of appreciation of all of them and not just one when they make me laugh. Or
would you like to just be in a state of alignment regardless of what they're doing? Would you like to not make them the object of attention that either makes or breaks your alignment?
That's absolutely what I was getting at.
And that's the power of meditation, because in meditation you quiet your mind. So the kids go away, the dog goes away, the cat goes away, the government goes away, politics goes away, religion goes away, everything goes away. Quiet your mind, it all goes away. And you come into resonance with source energy. And as you come into resonance with source energy, who is in complete resonance with what's in your vortex, now you are, for that time of what feels to you like a quieted mind, in the receptive mode, ready to receive everything that's in that vortex, can then begin to stream into your experience. Can you feel the simplicity of that? And compared to trying to work out all the moving parts that are going on with all of the other things, doesn't that feel like an empowering, really desirous, every day, good idea?
It sure does.
Yeah, we are very happy with this conversation, and we are very happy with the sales job we've done with you on lining up with who you really are. And even though it felt a little slow going, there was such clear resonance with everyone about the importance of plugging in your toaster before you try to toast your bread. We think this is a really good time for a segment of refreshment.